You often given that example of Indian Railways. They have 10 lakh
Yeah.
employees really, but there are various hierarchies. But at the end of the day, the head managing director is only one.
So similarly, even when it comes to devatas, there are different levels. And then there is Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga. 1 second of the life of Brahma is equal to 1 year. See, this also goes to show the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity is time moves slower in space. So 1 second which moves in space, Brahmalok, is 1 year on the earthly planet. So it's believable even from a modern scientific perspective also. Now, why do people worship the devatas? Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires according to their own natures.
So what material benefit you require, you go to that respective god. That is how it works.
Once in one of my classes, one person asked me this question, that if somebody prays to God to cause harm to somebody else, will God fulfill that person's desire? If he answers your prayers, inadvertently God is becoming the cause of harm of some other living entity.
Correct.
There should be a method to which that person can get elevated to a higher level.
Yeah, the Rajogun person will always say, why am I not benefiting?
I want something, I want immediate. God with the capital G, Lord Vishnu or Shri Krishna, they are beyond the purview of the Vedas.
Pranam Prabhuji. Last time we were midway through the 7th chapter. We ended somewhere around the 18th or 19th verse really, and we discussed about Gyan and Vigyan and how he says that these are the 4 types of people who will come towards me, and these are the 4 types of people who will probably avoid me. So back again, we continue from that, please.
Yeah. So if you remember, we had also discussed a little bit about, okay, Krishna is saying that he is God in the 7th chapter, he is the source of everything. So if he is God, who are the others? In
The demigods, really.
Yeah.
The 33 crore other devatas.
Devatas, the Hindu theology. So we need to understand. So it is explained that Eko Brahmaha Dvitiya Nasti. A lot of people, they feel that Hinduism is polytheistic, but it is actually monotheistic. Dvitiya Nasti, Eko Brahma Dvitiya Nasti. God is one. There is no two God. And Ekam cha vipra bahuda vadanti. Ekam cha vipra. God is one. So the point here is, if Hinduism is, or Sanatana Dharma is monotheistic, who are the different devatas? So it is explained that the other devatas are people who are in charge of the universal management of this world. Oftentimes, God with a capital G is distinguished from God with the small g. God with small g can be many, but God with a capital G is just one. And like a prime minister and the cabinet of ministers. The prime minister is one, but then there are cabinet ministers, and these ministers are responsible for different portfolios.
You often given that example of Indian Railways, if
Yes.
you recall.
Yes.
You know, they have 10 lakh employees really.
Yes.
But there are various hierarchies. But at the end of the day, the head managing director is only one. Yeah.
And as you rightly pointed out, I think I had asked this question to somebody who was attending my class, who was senior up in the Western Railways. So I asked him, how many people are there in the railways? He said some 10 lakh. So and very interesting analogy there. First of all, railways, just railways, 10 lakh. Now, universal management. So people say, 33 crore devata, how can it be possible? See, for management of the railways, we require 10 lakh people. What to speak of universal management?
Correct. 7 crore, 8 crore.
It has to be crores, in crores, 100%. Yeah. And also another thing is, when it comes to railways, it's not that all the people who are in the management are at the same level of hierarchy. There are different levels of hierarchy.
Yeah.
So similarly, even when it comes to devatas, there are different levels. Not everybody is on the same level actually. And also, one more thing that people...
So there is a distinct hierarchy even among these 33 crores?
Yeah, absolutely.
I see.
These devatas. And another thing is, oftentimes people misunderstand the names of the devatas. They take the position of the devatas to be their names. For example, Indra. Indra is a name of a position.
I see.
In the Puranas, it is described Indra went there, Indra came here, Indra did this, Indra did that. It's like in the newspaper you will read, the home minister came here, the home minister went there. Doesn't mean the name of the person is home minister. It's the name of the position which is home minister.
Okay.
So the home minister's portfolio is right now held by Mr. Amit Shah.
Correct.
So similarly, the post of Indra is right now held by a person whose name is Purandara.
I see. And that also keeps changing from time to time? I see. Okay.
So, as I said, depending upon your hierarchy in universal administration, you have different tenures. A lot of these prominent devatas like Indra, Agni, they all have a duration of one manvantara. Now, who decides or how it is decided that who occupies this post is dependent upon their level of piety.
I see.
So it is explained that somebody who performs 1,000 Ashwamedha Yagya, he becomes eligible to occupy the position of Indra. So you will see in the Puranas, whenever somebody is performing a lot of Ashwamedha Yagyas, Indra gets a little insecure. All these stories are there. So depending upon qualification, depending upon your level of piety, you are allowed to occupy this post for a limited duration of time.
I see.
So Indra's post, Chandra and a lot of these prominent devatas, Indra is Devendra. He is the head of all the devatas, a lot of devatas. So he is there for a duration of one manvantara. Now give you an understanding of how long one manvantara is. The Jyotish Shastras, they explain that the duration of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years.
Correct.
And then...
And we're just 5,000 years into it.
We are just 5,000 years into it. And then there is Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga. So, Treta Yuga is twice this.
432, yes. Yeah.
2 into 4,32,000.
Correct.
Dwapara Yuga is 3 times.
Correct.
4,32,000. Satya Yuga is 4 times 4,32,000. So put all these 4 yugas together, it's called one Divya Yuga. And the duration of one Divya Yuga is 10 times 4,32,000. If you do the maths.
Yeah.
1x plus 2x plus 3x plus 4x is 10x. So that's the duration of one Divya Yuga. Now 71 Divya Yugas together form one Manvantara.
Oh, it's a long time.
It's a very long time.
It's a very long time.
And that is why oftentimes the scriptures describe devatas as Amar. Amar is, they're deathless.
Not infinity.
Not infinity. They are deathless compared to human existence. Human existence is extremely short as against the duration of life of the devatas.
Yeah. If you say 10x of 432 itself, that is a large time. So 71 of them is immense. Really.
Immense. And very interestingly, the scriptures describe the duration of life of all these devatas to be also 100 years.
I see.
But their year is infinitely greater than our 1 year.
Our 1 year.
See, I don't know whether you're aware of this story, which is coming in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the story of Brahma Vimohan Leela. So, what happens is, Krishna, he kills an asura called Aghasur, and all the devatas, they come to see the wonder. Brahma also comes, and he's a little bewildered. He thinks that, is Krishna really God? Let me check him. And so while Krishna is taking food with his friends, Brahmaji, he steals his calves. And then Krishna, he tells his friends that, you don't worry about it, I'll look the calves for you. And when Krishna goes to look for the calves, Brahmaji comes behind his back and steals the friends also.
I see.
And Krishna comes back and he says that both his calves and his friends are gone. So he feels very sorry for the cows and the mothers in Vrindavan.
I see.
So he thinks that if I go just like that, they will have a very tough time. Where are our children? Where are our calves? So Krishna himself expands as all the calves and all the friends.
Oh, I see.
So it is explained that Brahmaji, he takes all these calves and friends and takes them to Brahmalok. And within a second he returns. Because he knows that he's playing with fire. He could be in trouble. And even though he comes within a second, 1 year has passed already on the Earth planet. And then the story goes that, he sees that, then he gets confused whether those are the original ones or these are the original ones. And then Krishna transforms, everyone is transformed into Vishnu Murtis.
I see.
And then Brahma, he repents and all this, then he offers prayers.
So in this 33 crore hierarchy, where does Brahma come?
Brahma is amongst the top.
Amongst the top.
See, the point I was trying to make with this story is 1 second of the life of Brahma is equal to 1 year.
Yeah.
See, this also goes to show the theory of relativity. See, theory of relativity is time moves slower in space than on the earthly planet. I don't know whether you remember this point.
Yes.
So, 1 second which moves in space, Brahmalok, is 1 year on the earthly planet. So, it's believable even from a modern scientific perspective also. Correct? So, these devatas, they are leading a life of 100 years, but their life, each second is much greater than the life on a time on earthly planet. Correct. So anyway, so these different positions occupied by different devatas, and at the end of it, they lose their piety, and then to occupy that post again, they have to go through the cycle once again.
I see.
So any jiva, any ordinary being like you and me, we can also occupy the post of Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, etc. And even the post of Brahma. Brahma is also a jiva.
I see.
An ordinary living entity. Because of immense piety, he has been given the post of being the creator, the secondary creator of this world. The primary creator is Lord Vishnu, and the secondary creator is Brahmaji.
Got it. So that's why even powers of Brahma are ultimately limited. They are not infinite.
They are not infinite.
Or Shiva, for that matter.
Yeah.
Are limited powers.
Limited powers only.
Got it.
So these devatas, they have got limited power. They have got powers given by the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna or Lord Vishnu. They can exhibit the amount of power which is being handed over to them according to their level of management, how much power they require. That is one thing. And another thing is regarding their worship. Krishna is telling here, Kameste rita jnana prapadyanti anya devata tam niyam asthaya prakritya niyatasvaya. Now, why do people worship the devatas? Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto the demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Prakritya niyatasvaya.
So, what material benefit you require, you go to that respective god. That is how it works. Right?
Yes. So, people who are obsessed with material desires, for them, worship of the devatas is recommended. Now, this requires a little bit of clarification here. It's a very interesting topic here. Once in one of my classes, one person asked me this question, that if somebody prays to God to cause harm to somebody else, will God fulfill that person's desire? Now, this is a very tricky question. Because if you are praying to God, God should answer your prayers.
Correct.
At one level. And on the other level, if He answers your prayers, inadvertently God is becoming the cause of harm of some other living entity.
Correct. I remember indirectly this, Ravan praying to Shiva, for example.
Yes.
Yeah. Giving all the powers.
Yes. See, the Supreme Lord, like the Supreme Father, will never fulfill such a desire. It's a tamasic desire. Now, desires are also of different categories. There are tamasic desires. Tamasic desires means you're not just satisfied with your own enjoyment. You want to cause harm to someone else.
Yes.
That's a tamasic desire. And then there are rajasic desires. People are so obsessed with their own selfish gratification.
Money,
power, etc., etc.
ego.
Only when a person comes to Sattva Guna, do desires become more sattvic. Welfare of others, service to others, you are praying for someone else. These are characteristics of more Sattva Guna.
Correct.
Now, somebody who is in Tamogun, who has got tamasic desires, now definitely God can't fulfill such a person's desire. But if that person is just left like that, if there is no path shown to that person to turn towards God, then that person will be lost. There should be a method to which that person can get elevated to a higher level. See, this is the beauty of the Vedas, Vedic spirituality. It is inclusive.
So there is a path even for this tamasic person.
Tamasic people.
There is a spirituality path even for this tamasic person.
Even for the tamasic person.
That's interesting.
See, when you worship the Supreme Lord, definitely the Supreme Lord, He will never fulfill your desire to cause harm to someone else.
Because everyone is His.
Everybody is His part and parcel. Another thing is also that even if you're praying for yourself, but if God sees that if He fulfills your desire, it won't be good for you. If that desire is not fulfilled right now, if that desire is fulfilled right now, it will be harmful to you. Then God won't fulfill your desire.
Correct.
He'll delay it at least. A person who is in Rajogun can't accept that delay. Patience is a characteristic of Sattva Guna.
Correct. Yeah, the Rajogun person will always say, why not me? Why am I not benefiting?
Why not immediately?
Correct. Why not immediately also? Yes.
I want something, I want immediately.
Gratification, instant gratification.
Instant gratification is a characteristic of Rajoguna. So that is why Tamasic and Rajasic person are ineligible to worship the Supreme Lord. But they shouldn't be left out. So that is why for them, worship of the Devatas is recommended. Now, the Devatas are within the purview of the Vedic injunctions. The Supreme Lord, God with the capital G, Lord Vishnu or Shri Krishna, they are beyond the purview of the Vedas. They are not bound by the Vedic injunction. But
they are not bound by the Vedic injunction.
They are not bound by the Vedas. Because the Vedas comes from them.
Yeah. They've sort of written the Vedas.
Yes. So how is it possible that, they are bound by the Vedas? Not possible. So the Devatas, on the other hand, they are bound by the Vedas. And that is why if you worship a Devata, properly, according to the Vedic injunctions, then that Devata is duty bound.
Because there is a Vedic inscription.
Duty bound to fulfill your desire. And so a person who is in Tamogun and Rajogun would rather turn to the Devatas.
Correct. So I'd rather, if I'm Ravan, go to Shiv Bhagavan.
Yes.
Shiv Bhagavan has no option after my penance to give me the benefit. Got it.
So that is why, but the worship of these Devatas is arranged in such a way that through doing those worships, slowly their consciousness will get elevated. So a person who is in Tamogun, if such a person follows the Vedic injunctions and prays to those Devatas and follows all the rules and regulations, he or she will get what he or she needs, and also their consciousness will get uplifted to the next level, to the level of Rajogun. So see, nobody will be inspired to worship anybody unless there are scriptures which glorify those particular Devatas. So there are scriptures who glorify Brahmaji, Brahma Vaivarta Puran. It is portrayed as if Brahmaji is the Supreme Lord. So when it is portrayed that way, people, when they read it, they are inspired to worship Brahma. So that is why there are 18 primary Puranas. 6 are meant for people who are in Tamogun, 6 are meant for people who are in Rajogun, 6 are people who are in Sattvagun.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I see.
So the Puranas which is meant for people in Sattva-guna, they predominantly suggest worship of Lord Vishnu, like Vishnu Puran or Padma Puran. They recommend worship of Lord Vishnu directly.
I see.
But the Puranas which is meant for people who are in Rajogun or Tamogun, etc., those Puranas, they portray historical incidents in such a way as to bring out the glories of those particular Devatas, so that people who are in those gunas
also have something to look up to.
Then they worship those Devatas, and then their consciousness gets slowly elevated.
Got it.
So that is why I'll give you an example. One particular historical incident, the story of the fight between Vritrasur and Indra, is a very historical battle. It occurred on the banks of the Narmada, they say, but not the Narmada of the earthly planet, but the Narmada of the higher planetary systems. So this particular battle between Vritrasur and Indra, Vritrasur was an Asura, Indra is a Devata. End of the battle, Indra comes out victorious, regains the heavenly planets. Vritrasur and party, they had usurped the heavenly kingdom from Indra. Indra regains the heavenly kingdom after defeating the Asuras in this particular war. Now, in Puranas, which are meant for people who are in Rajogun, Indra is depicted as the hero there. Why? Because people who are in Rajogun are looking for heavenly pleasures. So they will be inspired to worship Indra by reading this particular story with this particular twist. But the same historical incident is explained in the Bhagavad Purana, which is for people who are in Sattva and above Sattva also, Shuddha Sattva platform. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the same story, it explains how Vritrasur, even though he was playing the role of an Asura, internally he was a Mahabhagavat, a pure devotee of Lord Shri Krishna.
I see.
And so, the Bhagavad Purana portrays Vritrasur as the hero and Indra as kind of a villain. Indra is looking for material benefits. He wants to enjoy material pleasure. But Vritrasur, he is fighting the battle so that he can die and reach the spiritual planets. So the same story. One story glorifies a person who is selfless, whose motivation is to transcend material existence. Another version glorifies another person who is wanting material enjoyment.
Correct.
See, without proper direction, without guidance, if a person reads these two, they'll be totally
confused.
Totally confused. And so people become confused.
ये भी बोलता है, वो भी बोलता है.
हाँ, ये पुराण में ऐसे बोल रहे हैं, ये पुराण में ऐसे बोल रहे हैं, क्यों confusion? It's like, you know what? A first standard student is given first standard textbook, fifth standard textbook, 10th standard textbook also. He'll be finished. See, I remember in the first standard, mathematics teacher, she told us that numbers are always positive.
You mentioned this earlier.
I think I mentioned it earlier.
And then infinite number and then...
And so many things are there. See, if I have access to 10th standard textbooks directly, then I'll be, it's not healthy for me.
Totally lost.
See, that is why in the Vedic civilization, everybody had a guru. Guru directs.
Which standard you are in.
Which standard you are in, which textbook is your textbook.
Correct.
And you will read that and you will elevate your consciousness to the next level. In the absence of a guru, people randomly access any Vedic scriptures in the modern day world and they are royally confused.
Sure.
And they come up with weird interpretations of it.
So, while we are on this, a typical confusion will be, what finally establishes that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and not, let's say, a Shiva or a Brahma? Which scripture, what actually establishes that?
Yeah. It's a very nice question that you asked. So, this is Skanda Puran. Skanda Puran is a Puran which is meant for people who are in Tamogam.
I see.
So, there is a conversation between Lord Shiva and Skanda or Kartikeya, his son Kartikeya. So, in one of the verses, Lord Shiva tells his son Kartikeya, like it's a very intimate discussion between father and son. He says that whenever there is a contradiction that you find between a lower Purana and a higher Purana, you should always go for the version of the higher Purana. Going like this, even according to Lord Shiva himself, one has to go for the versions of Puranas of Sattva-guna, Padma Purana or Srimad Bhagavatam. Those versions have to be taken as final. See, this statement is found in Skanda Purana, which is meant for people who are in Tamogun.
I see.
So there, Lord Shiva himself says that we have to go for a higher version of Padma Purana or the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay.
So that is why we need to understand things from these principles. And also, one more thing. Now, most of the devatas, as I explained, they are jivas, ordinary living entities, who because of immense piety are occupying these positions. But Lord Shiva doesn't come into that category here actually. He's explained that Kshiram yatha dadhivikara vishesha yugat sanjayate nahi tata pradagasti heto yash shambhuta avitata samupayati karyad govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. It's explained that this is spoken by Brahmaji himself. He says that Kshiram yatha dadhivikara vishesha yugat sanjayate. Kshira is milk. When you bring about vikara or a transformation within milk by adding, either lemon into it or tamarind into it or some curd into it, milk transforms into curd. Dadhi. Kshiram yata dadhi vikara. So, is milk the same as curd? Yes and no. In one sense, they are the same, but from another perspective, they are different. Correct? That which is, maybe milk is not so good for the stomach, dahi is considered to be good for the stomach. But ultimately,
it's not milk.
It's the same. Dadhi and milk are the same source. So similarly, that's the relationship between Vishnu and Lord Shiva.
I see.
Lord Vishnu is compared to milk and Lord Shiva is compared to curd. They're almost on the same level. But still, they're not on the same level. Lord Shiva, see, it's explained, Vishnu stu trini rupani purushakhyani ato vidu ekam tu mahah srishti dvitiyam tu ananda sansitam trityam sarvabhutastam tani bhutva pramuchyate. It's explained in the Satvata Tantra. The Purusha avatars. The avatars who are responsible for the material creation. There is Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So it is explained that Karanodakshaya Vishnu or Mahavishnu, when he glances on the Mahat Tattva is nothing but raw ingredients of the material creation. At the beginning of creation, all the raw ingredients, which will further differentiate into earth, water, fire, air, ether, they are all found in raw form. It's like at the time of construction, for example. So this bungalow that you have constructed, there are raw ingredients lying here. Steel, cement, sand, etc. So that is compared to the Mahat Tattva, the raw ingredients. So it explains that Mahavishnu's glance infuses the Mahat Tattva with Jiva Shakti and Kala Shakti.
I see.
The raw ingredients, those will transform into the bungalow when there is time factor. In due course of time, they will transform. And also when people start working on it.
So living and time both.
Living entities and time. Correct. And again, see, Lord Vishnu's glance does that magic. And that glance of Mahavishnu, which comes in touch with the Mahat Tattva, that is Shambhu Tattva or Lord Shiva.
I see.
So Lord Shiva, he is Vishnu himself, who has come directly in touch with the material creation.
And anything similarly between Lord Vishnu and Brahma?
Now, Brahmaji is Jiva.
He's Jiva.
Clearly Jiva. He is a clear
So then between Brahma and Shiva, there is a hierarchy?
Yeah, Lord Shiva is on a higher place.
Oh, I see.
100%.
Okay. I thought always the two are... No. Okay.
So, Lord Shiva is not an ordinary Jiva at all. He's almost on the level of Lord Vishnu, but not exactly on the level of Vishnu. See, a lot of times people get confused because they don't know the science and also they haven't studied the Vedas. If you study the Vedas, then you start understanding who are these personality and then you start understanding. So here, Krishna is telling here, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires, as long as you have kama, selfish desires, you are still in Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So then you will be worshipping the devatas only. Kamestesya ritagnana prapadyante anya devata, they worship the devatas. And tam niyamastaya prakritya niyastastvaya. Depending upon which guna they are situated, they'll follow those rules and regulations to worship that particular deity.
Correct.
That is explained here. And then, beautifully Krishna explains in the next verse, Yo yam tanum bhakta shraddhayarchitum icchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tamaya vidadhamyaham. Whomsoever you desire to worship the devata with shraddha, with faith. Without faith, you can't really worship any devata. Tasya tasya chalam shraddha. And you need achala shraddha, firm faith to worship any deity. Tameva vidadhamyaham. And that faith is given by me only.
Oh, I see.
what is required to worship the devata, that shraddha or
that
faith,
energy is from you.
That shraddha is coming from me only, Krishna is telling there. And the next verse he says, Sataya shraddhaya yuktas tasya mihate labhate chata kaman mayeva vihitanitan. Endowed with that shraddha, Sataya shraddhaya yuktas tasya mihate. Endowed with that faith, that person will worship those devata. Correct? And their desire will be fulfilled. Labhate chatata kaman. Whatever kama, उनको प्राप्त हो जाएगा. Labhate chatata kaman. Mayeva vihitanitan. Actually, those desires are fulfilled by me only indirectly. Krishna is making it very clear in the Bhagavad Gita. Unless I supply to the Devata, Devata can't supply it to you. That is explaining here. And then he says, Antavantu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpamedasam devan deva yajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Antavattu phalam tesham. These desires which get fulfilled through worshipping the different devatas, they're temporary, antavat. They got a beginning, they got an end. You might get something. It's explained in the scripture, I don't know whether you're aware of it. That if you worship Lord Shiva, you'll get a beautiful wife. If you worship Uma, you'll get a handsome husband. You might get a beautiful wife, you might get a handsome husband, but in due course of time, they'll grow old and it'll go away. So, material desires, they're temporary. That's what Krishna is telling here. Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasa. People who are less intelligent, alpamedasam, alpabuddhi wale, they become attracted to material desires and so they worship the devatas. Devan deva yajo yanti madbhakta yanti mapi. And if you faithfully worship those devatas,
you will get what? Material.
That will
for temporary purpose.
That will be fulfilled. And in addition to that, you might go to the planet of those devatas also.
I see.
But the point here is, these devatas, they have got their residences within the material world only. Ultimately, you are revolving within the material existence only.
I see. Okay. So you're not getting out of that orbit.
You are not getting out of the orbit. That's what Krishna is trying to make here. Devan deva yajo yanti. If you worship the devatas, you will go to the devatas. But those who worship me will come back to me. So Krishna is, see, the Gita, it's on the level of Upanishads. So Krishna is encouraging you to go beyond material desires, come directly to the stand of worshipping him directly. And in this way, Krishna is explaining these things here, right? And then, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavarta mudoyam nabijanati lokomam. I'm never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. This is a very beautiful verse. Vedam samaniditani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani jabhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. O Arjuna, as a Supreme Lord, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. And then how, in the very beginning, the living entity gets entangled within this world. What is the root cause of the jiva getting bound within material existence? Ichha dveja samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa.
Desire.
Ichha dvesha samuttena. This is very interesting here, that I think I had spoken earlier also about perennial philosophy, how all the religions of the world have a common thread. This verse also, points something along this direction only. If you know the Christian theology, there is a story of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
So it's explained that they are in Eden, God created them, it's explained. It's an allegorical story. So Adam and Eve, they are in heaven, they are created, and God gives them the entire heaven, Eden, to enjoy. And God says that this particular fruit from this particular tree, you can't eat it. Except for this, you can enjoy whatever you want to enjoy. And then the Bible explains that, I don't know, gods go somewhere else or something like that. And then there is this serpent who represents Satan, evil. It comes to Eve and says that, why are you not eating fruit from this tree, apple from this tree? And Eve says that it's forbidden. I can't eat it. So the serpent whispers, why has God forbidden you to eat fruit from this tree? Because if you eat fruit from this tree, you'll also become God. He doesn't want you also to become God, so he has forbidden you to eat the fruit from this tree. So Eve says things, why can't I also try to become God? So she eats that fruit. And then when God comes, they are all hiding behind trees, and then they lost their innocence, basically. It indicates they lost their innocence. They suddenly realize that they're naked and they have to wear clothes and all these things are there. But the point here is, that is Ichha. The original Ichha is, I want to be God, I want to be godlike. I want to be the controller, I want to be proprietor, I want to be the enjoyer. And that is the original cause of the fall of, it's called the original sin in the Christian theology. So along the same lines, Bhagavad Gita also is telling here, Ichha. When there is Ichha, the flip side of Ichha is Dvesha, envy, desire. Once you have a desire, the other side of desire is envy. You will envy those people who have fulfilled those desires. So the original
who have already achieved arising out of the desire.
Yeah. So the original desire is to become godlike. And the original envy is envy of God. So that is why material existence is nothing but trying to imitate God. Want to be the controller, proprietor and enjoyer in your own way. And that is the problem here. So that's what here is explained. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharta. As soon as you come under the sway of Ichha and Devesha, this is the original duality. And then all other dualities arise from this.
No, ultimately it is about power. Whether it is whatever that material may be.
Yeah.
It is money, power, ego, people, whatever.
Yes.
I must have control. The power gives me control.
Yes. To lord it over.
Yeah.
Sarva bhutani sammohan sargayanti prantapa. In this way, living it is, he finds himself or herself within material existence. And then, yeshantu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanate dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante maam dridhavrata. So one has to become freed from this papa buddhi, the buddhi of wanting to be selfish.
Correct.
Controller, proprietor, enjoyer. Once you become freed from this papa buddhi, then you are on the path of liberation from material bondage, he explains. And then, towards the end of the 7th chapter, Krishna speaks 2 verses. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. And then he says, Sadi bhutadi daivam maam sadi yajnam cha ye vidu prayana kale picha maam te vidur yukta chetasa. Those in full consciousness of me who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So he throws forth a few terminologies here. Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva, Adi Yagya, Prayana Kale, etc., etc. So Arjuna is a little confused. So the 8th chapter will begin with Arjuna asking this question, what are these terminologies?
So what exactly are these terminologies? So just one of them, say for example, Adi Bhuta means what?
So he's going to explain it in the next.
I see you want to take it in the next one.
Next chapter.
You want to keep the suspense on. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We need to distinguish between God with a capital G and God with a small g. God with a capital G is only one, which is Lord Vishnu. There are numerous other gods with a small g who we generically call devatas. Hinduism boasts of over 33 crore such devatas. However, these devatas are like ministers, responsible for different portfolios, responsible for management of different parts of the universe. Even within this 33 crore number, there are various hierarchies. And oftentimes, the name of the devata gets confused with the position that the devata occupies. For example, Indra is a devata position currently occupied by Purandara, and this position is occupied for a finite period of time.
except that life of a devata is far, far longer in comparison to the life of a human being. Devatas reach their position in the hierarchy depending on their respective piety and the powers given to them by the Supreme Lord Vishnu. People who are obsessed by materialistic desires go to the devata who satisfies their respective desire. People with tamasic tendency have a certain set of gods who they worship, while rajasic people worship a different set of gods who satisfy their materialistic desires. Consequently, tamasic or rajasic tendency people are ineligible to worship the Supreme Lord. These are paths created by the Vedas to help elevate the spiritual base of these people. Devatas are duty-bound by the Vedic injunction, unlike the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is the creator of the Vedas. Hence, the powers of the Devatas are limited to their respective bounds as per the Vedic injunctions. We get reinforcement for the belief that Vishnu is the Supreme Lord from the Skanda Puranas, Purans meant for Tamoguna people, where Lord Shiva himself confirms to Skanda this fact. Lord Shiva, we are told, has an elevated position, very close to that of Lord Vishnu, and is hence the next most important god. Brahma, however, is a jiva who has become a devata due to his extensive piety. However, he is at a level lower than Lord Shiva. We are advised that whichever devata we worship, we must do so with piety and shraddha for our material desires to be fulfilled. However, material desires, by their very nature, provide only temporary happiness. We are also told that the living entity or jiva gets entangled in this material world because of ikcha or desires. The key desire being our wanting to imitate and ourselves become God. This is also regarded as the original sin. Desire leads to dvesha, which is envy, and the two combine to give us the original duality. All complications in life arise out of this duality. Finally, at the end of this chapter 7, Krishna puts forth a set of confusing and complicated terminologies even as per Arjuna. These are clarified by Krishna in the next chapter.